Third at Pakenham, a 1,200 metre maiden race, and we've got another favourite that they're really jumping into. Plenty of money in the tin for Milo, into $1.75 after opening at $2.25, holding more than 50% of the cash in the kitty at the minute. Milo, deep field gelding on debut after a trial win and 2 seconds in jump outs in the build up to this. 460 for the second elect, number 7, First Blessing. First up and in her first and only career run in August. Blessed the connections with a solid third over 1,100 metres. And then Big Cat, 850 after opening at 650, the 13. Has been around the mark this prep, got his first podium finish 2 back at Tat over 1,100 metres. But at $1.75, they're coming thick and fast and putting the warm milk into Milo today. At $1.75, what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, the number and the website are at the bottom of your screen. We haven't quite got horses in the yard here for race number 3, so let's have a look at a couple of the replays here. Our $1.75 favourite is Milo, and this is the recent jump out at Pakenham on the synthetic, important tonight.
He's been well educated with a number of these. Now, worth noting that he's got blinkers on here, which he wears on race day, and we talk about intent with other horses. There's not a lot of intent with a couple of the other horses in the race. There's a bit more intent with Milo, and he does respond, but he's asked for an effort, and he does wear the headgear to get the best out of him there. There's certainly the horse second position, beaten some 4 lengths or so under minimal, if any, riding, but he's been well educated by the Stokes stable, and there was some intent in that hit out.
Let's have a look at our next market.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Vobis Platinum. Find out more at vobisplatinum.com.au.
Internally, that's a yellow card to me. Let's have a look at the first horse in the yard that we'll be assessing is the 3 Milo. We just had a look at the replay and we've gone through the upgrade to his gear changes as well.
Yeah, he's well educated. He's got Luke Nolan on. He's on his home track. He's had jump outs there, as we can see, well educated with some gallops there. No doubt he's ready to go to the races. He's trialled up quite well. He's got the blinkers on, so there's certainly a sign of intent to have him ready to go for his debut.
David Noonan and Theo Nugent will combine here with the 4 Sun Halo. Comes through that Lunar Shot race we've just been talking about earlier.
It's a good form race for the previous, wasn't it? I think probably staying around this distance range a positive for this horse at this stage. Would need to improve, but fitter for that run. And as you've pointed out, that has been a key form reference, that race that Sun Halo comes through in the previous, bringing the winner of that race.
Ben Allen and Wendy Kelly won the previous race. They're up here again with Sunny Mo Food, who makes his debut.
He looks to be well educated also, and a horse who's probably kicking off at a suitable distance, looks to have jumped out okay. Not surprised to see him kicking off at 1,200 metres.
Aqualong Girl finished 3rd behind Angustine last time out, which it took a long time for Angustine to win his maiden. Hopefully Aqualong Girl doesn't take as many starts.
Well, I know Adam Olszanski was betting up for Aquillian Girl as a chance here, nice and fit. A better run last start. The pre-race earmuffs come off, so perhaps the stable are just happy with the way that she's progressing. And although it was a bit of a bunch finish, and as you said, Angustine had taken a while to break through, and she was a $41 chance, it was an improved run last start.
First Blessing is the 7 for the Price Kent team. Thomas Stockdale also looking for another winner on the program. She hasn't raced since the 2nd of August last year. Stable advised, filly underwent tie forward surgery during that break.
She was behind Written Bly on that occasion, so that was ultimately quite a strong maiden at the time. There's been some reasonable form out of that race. She's jumped out okay. She was back near the inside in a recent jump out, and again, it comes down to intent, but it wasn't the most eye-catching jump out you've seen, but effectively she's just there to have a gallop and try and build fitness to get back to the races, and what she's done, that limited exposure of one race day performance, says that she's not going to be a maiden for long.
Luke Oliver is a very astute trainer. He's also a good shopper. He went to $30,000 to buy Lake Vostok at the 2022 May yearling sale.
And this is I suppose the reading of jump outs. I thought Lake Vostok's trialled up really nicely without being tested, but then we've seen Milo, who was tested and responded. So you're guessing what might be under the bonnet with Lake Vostok. Looked to me to be a horse suited, kicking off at 1,200 metres, just could be able to get into a bit of a rhythm and travel, and then looked like there was a bit to offer. So I'm thinking Lake Vostok's got a good chance of running very well here on debut.
Chris Davies and Craig Newitt combined here with the 9 Lucky by Jingo, who comes off a 5th at Werribee at a big price.
Yeah, it was $101 on that occasion, and been big odds the times that she has been to the races. She would need to improve, but she's had a little gap between runs, which might help her freshen up to some extent.
10s are scratching 11. Miss Lil for Frankie Stockdale. Luke Cartwright pulls 2 kilos off here. Start number 3. Can we expect a better run?
Hope she begins cleanly. That would be a positive. She did actually work home okay behind a horse who had taken a while to win, Kamchatka. Also good to see the connections get rewarded with the win for Kamchatka at Cranbourne recently. This horse is getting fitter. The rise in distance suits. You'd just like her to see a little bit more cleanly away.
Bill Papper and Winona Costin team up here with 12 Way Here, who comes off a 155-day break.
Back for the second racing campaign. Only had the one run in the first prep. I couldn't find a trial or a jump out, but Billy Pap's got a couple of horses back at the races today that haven't had trials or jump outs here on the home track, so no doubt he's worked out a way to get the work into them to have them fit enough for this first up assignment.
Big Cat is the 13. Blinkers off first time for Billy Egan and the Griffiths the Cock team.
He's fit, consistent. Maybe the blinkers coming off are just going to help him, maybe have a little bit more left for the finish. He'll put himself on speed. He'll give a sight, even with the blinkers coming off. I think he'll be right there and at least give a sight to the couple of 100-metre mark, maybe longer.
To the top of the race book we go with the one classic story, Brian McGrath. Wide no cover when resuming at Maui behind the Moon's a Balloon.
I thought he trolled up quite nicely going into that first run for the new stable, but the market wasn't expecting much. And although he covered ground, he was still probably showing that he would need to improve. I think today he's drawn to get a much better run, and I thought there was a glimmer of hope in the jump outs going into this preparation. So at 100 to 1, wouldn't shock me at all if he ran much better than that price gives us an indication.
He looks nice and fit and muscled up there. Let's have a go through your assessment here of the top 4.
Even race. I'm with Blake Vostok that I thought had shown enough to think could go to the races and show something on debut. Milo was ridden with some intent. That recent hit out with the blinkers that we saw. First Blessing comes through a good debut run behind Written Bly. That's probably a good form reference with respect to the raced form here. And Big Cat seems to be fit, going okay. Blinkers come off. 8, 3, 7, 13.
Couple of speculative bets on Lake Vostok. $12, $11, and then sort of jumping back and forth between those two numbers. We've got to $1.65 though, did number 3 Milo. Most of the money that was coming since the last update was coming for the favourite. But back out to $1.75 now as punters are maybe looking for a little bit of value elsewhere. First Blessing had got out past $5, now back under. Sonny Mafeed's the mover. $26 yesterday, and then just some money coming late on debut. Nothing really to report from the jump outs, but $9 now, and has just been, I suppose, the next best backed over the last sort of 6 or 7 minutes. $1.75 the favourite, though, holding more than 50% of the cash in the kick. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number or visit the website at the bottom of your screen.
Rachel Cunningham has made her way in with the 2 Epsom Road. There is a rider change here as well. B. Higgins unavailable. Paul Gatt picks up the ride.
Yeah, I heard they couldn't find Epsom Road. It's just next to Flemington Racecourse, but that's a fair way from Pakenham. But ultimately we found the equine version of Epsom Road, who looks to have jumped out okay to get to the races at what you'd think would be a suitable trip. But Son of Fiorento, I think, sooner rather than later, he'll get out over more ground. And Rachel Cunningham loves having horses in her stable that can get out over a bit of ground.
She does indeed. So that is now the full mounting yard for race number 3, 8, 3, 7 and 13 were your numbers here. Is that correct?
Correct weight.
Correct weight. All right. Let's just get him out on and run the race. But we've got another short prize favourite. Are you surprised that we're getting so many short prize favourites here? What do you think is the real standout to have a $1.70 favourite here so early?
Oh, look, for an unraced horse, I'm surprised he's that short, but I suppose he was ridden with some intent with the blinkers on. I'm not really too sure what would be driving force behind having him so light in this market. I think he's there with some chance for sure. I'm surprised he's that short and I couldn't be backing him at that price. But if he reproduced that most recent hit out that we saw with the blinkers on, that might be good enough to win this race. But for a horse that we heard from Phil Stokes earlier on talking with Ed Sadler, he said he'll probably benefit from the run and he's an each-way chance. Well, he's $1.65 to win, so that's not really each-way odds.
It's not indeed, but one of the main rivals here is the 7 First Blessing, who's had the one start. It was in August last year, and this is her resuming via the jump outs.
Chestnut with the blaze back there on the inside, so you can see she's under a little bit of riding there. Totally different surface here on the synthetic track, but yeah, she's just given a little bit of a rouse there late in the heat. Her race day form behind Written Bly is clearly good enough to put her right in the mix here. From that jump out, you probably would have liked to see travel a little bit longer on the bridle and perhaps be a bit stronger through the line. But that, again, it's really very speculative interpreting jump outs and trials that way, but you have to try.
The one question I have, and you may or may not know the answer to this, I've heard of tie back surgeries and seen them done in the past, but a tie forward surgery, do you know the difference between a tie back and a tie forward surgery?
Well, it's to do with the area of the throat where they've had the surgery, and depending on the degree that they're trying to do, they can either tie that flap back or tie it forward. And,
that's with the epiglottis,
it's just a different procedure, obviously. One's called tie back and one tie forward, but yeah, they end up with an area of the airways that is attached both either backward or forward, and that stops it flapping around in the airways, and the surgeon, the vets would determine what is the best, more appropriate form of that surgery for the specific horse. Now, that's my understanding, and I've got no formal vet training at all, but that's my understanding of it. I could be off the mark, but that's how it's been explained to me.
If Warren's off the mark, hit me up on social media. But interesting, thank you for your assessment there. Matt de Kock is one half of the training team with Robbie Griffiths. They've got the 13 here. Big Cat is with Edward.
Matt, thanks for your time as always. Big Cat, back to 1,200 metres, blinkers off. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, we thought he raced really well last start up until probably the last 100, 150 metres where he just compounded, having done a bit much early. So we've taken the blinkers off, back 100 metres onto the synthetic. We're expecting a good run.
As you say, his last couple of runs have been pretty good, drawn well. What are your confidence levels like?
Confident that he's going to show something positive today, and obviously it just depends on how soft a run he gets from that barrier. If they make him work, then it just depends if that'll soften up late,
What about, I see the Dam Pride Rock. This is a horse called Big Cat. Is there a bit of a Lion King theme here?
Could be. I wasn't part of the naming process, but I think you've picked up on something there, Edward.
Okay, I might have put two and two together and be getting five. We'll find out from the owners a bit later. A few other runners from your stable to look out for. Never Let Me Go in the next.
Yeah, she's been disappointing because she shows a lot of ability at home, and we thought she should have broken a maiden by now. But she does do a bit wrong in the races, can over-race, so hopefully with a bit of speed on her inside, she can get a bit of cover and relax, and if she does so, then she'll be a factor.
And in the race after that, you've got Clock Strikes.
Yeah, him too. I mean, he always goes to the race as favourite, and we're always expecting him to run well. He's been racing well without winning, so hopefully today, back on the synthetic, blinkers on, he can put his best foot forward, because if he does, it's definitely good enough.
And in race 8, can Stormy Grey be effective over a mile?
I don't want to say no and then she looms home or something, but she's definitely better of a bit further, and today's more of a preparing run for races coming up. So if they go quick, she can storm home, but if not, I wouldn't be worried, because she's better over extended distances.
And the nominations have just come out for Flemington. I see you've got a couple of the old favourites there, an Aberfeldy boy, and also King Magnus in the nominations there for Flemington. Will they run?
Yeah, they'll be running, so we'll be going to Flemington with a decent hand, especially Aberfeldy boy. He looks to be peaking, for Saturday. He was a bit unlucky in his last start. He's been a bit unlucky a few times, but hopefully back to his right distance in a grade very suitable. He should be probably our best winning chance on the weekend.
And what about the King?
Yeah, he's in good order. He's obviously getting on in age now and in rating, but he always goes out there and tries his best, so he'll be competitive for sure.
And you've got a few runners at Sandown. Have you got another winner, say, after today, leading into Saturday?
Yeah, we've got a nice hand going to Sandown. We've got Crown of Catherine, who's a last start winner. She's coming out the maidens. She's a good little stayer. Nation's Call, also a last start winner. He's first time in the city. He's an import from Ireland, so we're looking forward to that. And Infomedia was a really good run at Cranbourne last start. So three particularly nice runners going to Wednesday.
Beautiful winter's day here at Pakenham. It'd be a nice day to be on the golf course after you've had your runners, if that worked out.
It did, but unfortunately there's no daylight savings. It'll be dark within an hour of the last, so I wish I could be out there, but a winner will definitely help that.
Do you get much of a go for a hit?
Yeah, I try and go once a week, Ed. Keep yourself sane, so it's good to get out there, and it was nice to watch the golf on TV this morning. It was a very exciting finish.
Certainly was. How's your form on the golf course?
Not as good as the lads this morning. I'm struggling a bit.
Best of luck here. Let's hope there's a winner over the next few days.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Thanks, mate. Let's go upstairs. We'll join Adam Olzanski for his call of the third.
One of the newcomers, Ed. Thank you. Yes, they're about to step up into the gates. Paul Gadd, I was just mentioning a new rider for that horse there, Epsom Road, on screen. So they're about to come up into the barriers, moving in for the running of the Sandown Lodge Maiden. From the 1,200 metres, Big Cat goes up along with Miss Lil. Barrier blanket on way here, lead rope attached, and it will come forward shortly. Epsom Road stepping up. Aquilian Girl looks suited out to 1,200 metres. It walks around with Classic Story. Now walking into the gates. First Blessing, Thomas Stockdale with the first winner. Legs out of the irons on the chestnut. First Blessing ran well on debut, given some time. Like Vostok has been given a couple of quiet jump outs. Looked good finishing behind the place getters recently. Looks to be some talent there. Wide gate though. Where will it land in the run? There's Milo. Winning an official trial here impressively against horses that have since run duck eggs at their race starts, but visually impressive. Jumped out well down the back straight. Had an inclination to lay in on both occasions, but there looks to be plenty of raw talent for Milo. Makes its race debut. Luke Nolan rides. Sandown Lodge Maiden, 1,200 metres. Last one moving in. Ready to go. Red light keeps on flashing on the stalls, and they're away. Aquilian Girl got a great start from Big Cat, and Aquilian Girl's looking for the lead. Big Cat down near the inside, and First Blessing goes by it. Milo's up to fourth. They're 2 lengths on Epsom Road, and then comes Lucky by Jingo, fifth now on the fence. And they're 2 lengths on Classic Story, followed by Sun Halo. And then comes Deeper Sunny Mafeed going on. They're 2 lengths on Lake Vostok, who's third last. Miss Lil and Way Here is back last. 700 to go. Aquilian Girl takes them down the side, 1 length. First Blessing second. Big Cat and Milo the favourite, poised in fourth. Close to 3.5 lengths off the lead from Lucky by Jingo, 2 lengths away Epsom Road and Sunny Mafeed. Then comes Sun Halo in between runners as they start to swing from Lake Vostok, and then Classic Story. And Way Here's back last as they enter the home running with 3.50 to go. So Aquilian Girl has clicked up in the lead from First Blessing, and Milo's coming on. Big Cat down near the inside, reaching the 200 metres. So Milo's letting down after Aquilian Girl. Big Cat to the inside, First Blessing fourth. And Milo now presented. Milo goes up, storms to the front, got past Aquilian Girl, and Milo's come away for a handsome debut win. Put 2 lengths on Aquilian Girl. Big Cat ran in third, and then First Blessing. They were followed by Sunny Mafeed, who ran well, and then Lake Vostok. In behind those runners was making good ground Way Here late. Classic Story towards the end, Sun Halo, and then Miss Lil, Epsom Road, and Lucky by Jingo. So Milo, the short price favourite, just as it's shown in some of its trials, just that inclination to lay in, head half on the side, and just needed a bit of straightening by Luke, but I'm sure he would have been aware of that, and it got to Aquilian Girl quite easily. Aquilian Girl put up a brave fight and has relished the 1,200 metres, continues to improve as an older mare. She's run well. Big Cat had a nice trial. It was a race where it was the first 4 in running pretty much just in a slightly different order across the line, but those back in the field just had no part in the race. And interim numbers 3, 6, 13 and 7. 3, 6, 13 and 7 in a time of 110.49, 110.49. So Milo, $1.50 started, fixed odds, 2-1 on, off an opening mark of 195. On its trials and jump outs, it looked the obvious choice, but boy, the market really zeroed it in on it late. Identified it almost as the only possible chance in the race. And it's done that opinion justice with a widening margin late. 2 1/4 by 1 1/4, 110.49. It's a local win. Philip Stokes winning trainer. We'll hear from Luke Nolan as he comes back shortly. But let's hear from Philip trackside.
Philip, congratulations. You said before this is a horse that had a lot of jump outs and trials. I went back, counted them up myself, gave him 6. Have you had to take your time with him?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I came here a bit reserved today. I just thought he might need the race day experience because you look at his first jump out, he ran last, then last again, and we put the blinkers on. He gradually improves through the prep. So really happy for Mark and the Regal Bloodstock team. And I thought the first one could win, and this one, I thought the race day experience might just bring him unstuck. But Luke rode him beautifully, and nice win.
Certainly was a nice win. So I know he was a sure prize favourite, but was that a bit of a pleasant surprise there?
I was. I just thought coming off, he might just come off the bit today and just lose his way, but he didn't. He stuck to his task. So really happy for the owners. They've been very patient with this horse. He's a rising 4-year-old, and hopefully onwards and upwards.
What could he go on to do?
I'll just take him through his grades. We'll go step by step.
What about, obviously, it's the start of the synthetic season. He's won on debut on that surface today, but could he perform well, equally as effective on the turf?
He could, but he needs firm tracks, hence he started off here. So I'd say if he starts again, you'll probably see him back here on the synthetic.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Well done, Philip.
Thank you.
Edward Sadler doing a great job there with our post-race interviews. Good performance, short-priced favourite. Punters are probably happy that he got home.
Yeah, well, he was just heavily backed, wasn't he? He was, and the money kept continuing. $1.40, I think, was the tote dividend, and maybe $1.50 SP. And Luke Nolan just had him in a good spot. He still, I think, got a few issues that he may well iron out. He did want to lay in again, as he's done in some of his work. Blink it up for the debut, but just got into a beautiful spot. Adam Olszanski, well identified by Adam, that horse in this race would be able to roll forward, a Quillian Girl, and perhaps give a much better sight run and improved race. Well, he was right on the mark there. But, yeah, Luke Nolan just trying to nurse the horse, good experience as possible, wanted to lay in, didn't get too aggressive with the whip in the right hand and over-accentuate the fact that the horse was a bit wayward, because I think from about the 200-metre mark, he was able to be pretty confident he had them covered.
He did, and the last little bit of the race, he picked himself up again. He might have even wanted to wait just a little bit for those horses once he got to the front. We often see that with young horses. They don't know how to put races away at the minute. He's on debut here. He's been well schooled to get him to this race, but he's still got to learn his ring craft.
Yeah, we won't, as Phil said, if there's a race here in a few weeks' time, maybe going up a grade, a 58 over the 1,200 metres, he could line up again in a couple of weeks' time if they continue on with him. But, you know, with that solid hit out he'd had in the trial and the race day experience today, he's certainly been rewarded the patient connections. But yeah, we won't get too carried away. But the punters were well on the mark with Milo. It was one-way traffic in terms of his SP trending inwards.
Yeah, good advantage to be able to present your horses here on your home track when they can just walk across the road or be trucked down from his farm, which is very close, and have that use of the track here at Pakenham as well, because all surfaces are different, and he's had a good look at this surface and been able to perform at a level in the jump outs, and he's brought it to race day as well. Let's go and hear from our winning jockey.
Luke, well done. You got this horse into a lovely spot. Looked a pretty straightforward task from there.
Yeah, it really was, Ed. We travelled lovely. I think he had 4 or 5 jump outs in preparation for it over the course of his career. And he presented like a horse that knew what his craft was about a bit, you know. Not heaps of him, and he's a late season 3-year-old, so he might as well keep going with him. He had as much prize money in the bank while he's still a 3-year-old. Doesn't matter if it's on a synthetic surface or wherever, but yeah, it was a nice rounded performance today, so it won't be the first photo they had on the wall.
So Philip was saying he wasn't sure what to expect from this horse in terms of his race day manners, but were you happy with how he performed in that regard?
Yeah, I've ridden plenty worse the first go, so you know, he was a dream. Sometimes, because you don't put them on the float here, they can and you just walk them across the laneway to the tie-ups here. Sometimes they're more advantaged with a sort of a ride away in the float. Can take some of the shenanigans out of him, but no, he acted like a real professional. So in saying that, he was well educated for his first day at the races. So credit must go to the Stokes team.
And I noticed that you're getting away from the fence there. Should I be reading anything into that?
No, jockeys don't know where it's synthetic track. It's supposed to be even, isn't it? I haven't walked it, so I don't see the point in it. But no, I just think probably the best horse have been when they are. And a couple of horses have. I think Lang's in the first. He was box seat, stayed inside, and probably drifted a little bit out, just getting a bit lost. And then the leader in the last race drifted off the fence as well, and they end up in the middle. So I think you're reading a little bit too much into it, Ed.
All right,
I hope that's the case anyway.
Well done.
Cheers, Ed. Thanks, mate.
Luke Nolan in a good mood, and why wouldn't it be after a solid win like that? And well done to the team at Regal Bloodstock who purchased this horse, the son of Deepfield from the Gold Coast Yearlingsdale, came from Mill Park, started at Meningia, a great breeding ground for winning racehorses. That is race number 3 done. Milo beat Aquilin Girl and Big Cats. Neil Bainbridge, CEO of Southside Racing, will be here to have a chat after the break.